Vice Chairperson of Macoss and Executive Committee Member of ILO, Mr. Avinash Apadu, Professor Dr. Chitu, Mr. Suraj Ray, Chairman of Macoss, Executive Committee Members of Macoss, member organizations, students of UDM, our guests, members of the press, and all protocol respected, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today we are welcoming you for this workshop on the ILO Convention C190. For this workshop. So today it's a great day. We welcome you all, and I hope that you will spend a great time here and learn a lot of things concerning the Convention C190. We have our guest, Dr. Chitu, himself, Professor. We have Mr. Subhadre. Also, we have our eminent guest who will share with us some very important points on this convention. So I hope that you will learn a lot of things, especially for the ladies, the women here, because you know this convention is very important. As you student, tomorrow you're going to work, you're going to get a job, so it's very important for you to know your rights. So without any further delay, I would like to invite Mr. Chitu. So I will just give a brief description of the professor so that you may know who is Mr. Chitu. He is also a very important person. He started the CLAIM project, Community Learning Engagement. So I will just introduce Professor before he comes on stage. So Mr. Chitu, Dr. Chitu, is a PhD in management. He has more than 28 years of working experience in tertiary education sector, teaching, research, consultancy, trade union, administrative and community services, servicing our national level. I think the CV is too long, Professor. I will just make it short. Presently Associate Professor at the University of Technology, Head of the School of Business Management and Finance. In fact, we are very glad to have such caliber person still serving our country. So it's a great honor for us to have Professor Chitu here. He's also the chairperson of the Blended Learning Unit, King Director General of University of Technology, Head of School of Business Management and Finance, University of Technology, Lecturer of University of Mauritius from 1993.
The protocol as usual, so good morning to all of you. Mr. Avinash Apadu, Head Planning and Research Unit, Ministry of Gender, Equality and Family Welfare. Mr. Suraj Rai, I prefer to call Rai rather than Ray, FCG Chairperson Macoss. Mr. Yesaya Sanasi, Vice Chairperson Macoss. Speakers, guests and participants, students of UDM, ladies and gentlemen, and good morning to all of you again. I'm here to represent the Director General of the University of Technology Mauritius, whom you have my government, Dr. Dinesh Kumar Adiram. He has delegated me to address the audience both in his capacity and in my personal capacity. Right? So I personally feel very honored and privileged to address the audience today. You are gathered in this beautiful environment for a very pertinent workshop on gender and workers. And both of these topics, let me tell you, have been very dear to me throughout my career. In fact, I started working in collaboration with the Ministry of Gender, which was in those days Ministry of Women's Rights, including with NGOs, at the very inception of the ministry. I would say that constructively I have been contributing to the policies and other activities of the ministry at least since 1995, right? I have lived the history and been associated with various evolutions of the gender movements in the Republic of Mauritius. I've been associated with the problematics, the challenges, the changes, and in the legal and institutional frameworks that have been brought over the course of time, including I have been involved in writing gender policies for Mauritius, which were sent to Cabinet in 2015. It gives me, indeed, therefore, great pleasure and privilege to be associated with this new initiative of today, like the one we are gathered on workers and gender. While I understand that today's workshop is to a large extent for the benefit of UTM students pursuing the client component of the programs of UTM, more specifically of the programs of SPMF, of which all of you are students, I find it appropriate to set the context right. On dit qu'il faut rendre à César ce qui appartient à César. I thought I would never be associated so closely again with Glenn. Juste pour vous rappeler que me and one Mr. Giris Pakulansi was then chairperson of Macoss in 2015. At the 50th anniversary of Macoss, we launched this program. But I'm very happy that even though the persons have changed, Mr. Surajai has a vision to take the Clan initiative to a new level, right? So if the opinion leaders and think tanks and even government are thinking along those lines, it means that what was thought as just a noble initiative has reached a level where today we are sitting in the center of Port-Louis in this beautiful environment to try to bring more to students, and I think it will remain memorable in the minds of all of you during your career and your personal lives. So the initiative was proposed by Macoss, in fact, not by me, right? But I gave all support and approval for the project. So Macoss being the NGO focal point when it reached its 50th year of existence in 2015. As one of the key events to mark this milestone, Macoss and UTM had partnered under the initiative engaging university students in the community. UTM, through the School of Business Management and Finance, had conducted, in those days, a major review of its academic programs by incorporating credit-based components such as community learning, that is CLEN, and also continuous skill development and a 6-month effective work placement for its students, which was the first of its kind in the tertiary education landscape. In a nutshell, the academic programs put on offer as from 2015 were a first and pioneering step towards innovation in inclusive education system in Mauritius, especially at university level. The current focus is the CLEN, which endeavors to integrate community learning and social responsibility in undergraduate education to increase employability of UTM graduates and to initiate them to the notion of social service as a noble act in the lives of any material pursuing individual. We want it to differentiate UTM graduates from graduates of other universities. Let me tell you that the market appreciates UTM graduates for their humility, and disposition to go the extra mile. Right? The CLAN initiative provides our students with that plus in their lives. CLAN is, as you are aware, for those of you who have already done it, of course, it's a field-based initiative which aims at promoting civic engagement in community organizations among undergraduate students of SPMF, who will, in fact, attend direct off-campus experience, contributing to your intellectual, personal, and professional development. In view of the above, Macoss and UTM have partnered to make this initiative a reality and success. UTM normally chooses students, whereas Macoss provides the list of NGOs and gets you into contact the list of NGOs who are willing to accommodate our students for a period of at least 15 days in a year. Nothing prevents you from continuing either on a part-time or voluntary basis after the formal period of 15 days. Macoss also supervises the process and ensures that both students and NGOs make the most of it. The innovative initiative has since been a regular feature for all our students. The CLAN is in line also with the objectives of Sustainable Development Goals. It's good that as students you get familiar with these terms which are going to be part of your professional growth throughout. I think the recent strategic plan for another 15 years. The first 15 years over, 7 SDG goals set for another 15 years are already out there to ensure inclusive and equitable quality and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all, and aligns with the 2017 Mauritius Roadmap for SDG implementation. Every year since 2010, some 800 to 1,000 SPMF undergraduate students validated the component by engaging in over 80 NGOs in the Republic of Mauritius. CLAN initiatives have both direct and indirect benefits. The direct beneficiaries are, of course, the students and the NGOs, while the indirect beneficiaries are the university and the vulnerable groups which the NGOs are serving. Community engagement is added to give students more autonomy of their learning, providing them with an opportunity to take responsibility for choosing projects and reflect on their academic and personal development. CLAN provides more practical skills to students and thus contribute to address skills gap of the industry. There are many NGOs in Mauritius and they strive to deliver a demanded service to their recipients. However, as you are aware, financial constraints may jeopardize the possibility to give the best level of service to their intended audience. So devising an appropriate employment strategy becomes a challenge for such organizations. Students enrolled in the CLAN allow NGOs to palliate the possible shortage of staff for short terms and volunteers for their daily operations. At the same time, students represent a potential workforce for the civic sector with the required academic skills, exposure to the functioning of NGOs. CLAN initiative also establishes mutually beneficial relationships for the vulnerable groups and community at large. It helps to empower people and communities for social change with positive social transformation and sustainable capacity building. It also contributes to enhance the dignity and well-being of people and communities and promote access to resources. So by integrating SDGs in the curricula through the CLAN initiative, UTM has emphasized on interdisciplinary learning to promote multidisciplinary approaches, thus providing students with the unique knowledge and skills needed to address the increasingly complex challenges facing societies today. This in itself is testimony of the university's firm commitment to embrace the SDGs goals. The innovative component has enabled SPMF to differentiate its programs. In fact, I will tell you that UTM received a silver award offered by the National Creativity and Competitiveness Council in 2019 for this initiative of CLAN. Right? And I'm also pleased to announce to you that the University of Pretoria in South Africa are also impressed by this initiative, and we are right now working a collaborative research and development project between UTM and University of Pretoria. I can just cite you the names of Professor and Liz Mutz, among others. We are working again to take this initiative to a higher level, because they also want to introduce it in Pretoria, South Africa, and we're also going to learn from what they do well over there, and the cross-fertilization of ideas. So the school is currently striving to expand the scope of grant by also developing an online facilitation platform. So students after you will apply to NGOs online, and NGOs are going to register online with UTM, and it's all going to, we are entering a new phase, right? Where technology you can't discount. So this will allow us to better coordinate and efficiently disseminate the initiatives on the plan. So I try to get it short a bit, my speech is my brother. So UTM, I assure you, is committed to working and strengthening its partnerships with Macoss and other NGOs for building better human beings and more effective socio-economic development of Mauritius. Today's initiative of Macoss is, in my opinion, very laudable. I congratulate the organizers, the speakers, and students, as well as others in the audience, for deeming it fit to create and benefit from such a noble initiative. From my side and from that of my Director General, I wish you a fruitful workshop, and I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Ready? Très frais. Un peu trop tranquille. Pas l'école ici, okay? So, Mr. Avinash Abadu from the Ministry of Gender, Head Planning and Research Unit, Ministry of Gender Equality, Child Development and Family Welfare. Professor Dr. Hemant Chitu from the UTM, Associate Professor, University of Technology Mauritius, and Head of School of the School of Business, Management and Finance. I have Mr. Tapesapo Singh, who is the Deputy Chairperson of the Macoss, who is sitting at the next table. We have Mr. Amin Kadabaks, who is sitting there, is the Treasurer of Macoss. We have Pul Chong Long, barrister, who is the legal advisor of Macoss, and we'll learn about him in a few minutes when we start the program. We have a lady, Mrs. Ranjit Indira Devi, who is the Vice Chairperson of Macoss and the Chairperson of the Gender Committee. And I have my young fellow here, Mr. Yesaya, who is himself the Vice Chairperson of Macoss and also is leading the projects as the Chairperson. So we have a nice panel today. Well, I didn't prepare any speech like that because I can't read, so I have some problem reading. Today is a great day for Macoss. Dr. Chitu presented this program and put it in the right perspective. It started something like 2015, if my memory recalls well. And this is, to my opinion, one of the best programs that this country has. What we do in this country is we train young people like you. You are from the university. You are the young people who will govern this country tomorrow. You are the future. We invest a lot on you. We pay loads of taxes. I see my friends there. Well, sorry, I forgot to mention my friends from the National Social Inclusion Foundation. Mrs. Priscilla, welcome. And the members of the press. All protocols respected, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I forgot that, sorry. We invest loads of money on the youth, but the problem remains that when they go in the practical world, you know, I come from a practical world. I work in the private sector, and the whole concept of work in the private sector, well, in the government sector, in the informal sector, we have the three main sectors, is very different from what you are living today and what all the speeches are all about. And this program that is called the Community Learning Development Program is just a bridge between the academic life and the world of dream you are living in and the practical real world. So life is very different when you swap from a university to the real life, that's work environment. And it's very important for you to understand today, what will be your future when you are going to become the employer, self-employed, whatever, or the employee. Very important. I usually say that when you are going to drive a car, you need to have a proper license and you need to have practical experience. This is why when you apply for a job, you'll see you have this first limb of academic background, but then they look also for something that's called the experience. So those children who came to our institution ahead, so we have explained to them why this program is very important. So I thank you to have come here today, and I thank my whole team at Macoss for making this become possible, and I thank the Ministry of Gender for being associated to this project. This is not the first one. We have been doing, I think, 2 of this kind, or I think we have been 2 or 3. But I think the last one you were associated because it was at a national level. So it's very important for us to have these stakeholders, and of course, UTM, we wanted to have somebody who represents the university just to give you this confidence about this program. So I'll start by just putting things in shape for you. The first thing is, when we are at the university, we have created a whole concept about this word. Because you were at the primary school, you came to the colleges, you are now at the university, but the world is not that, it's a very, very small world. The world is very wide outside and it's very brutal. Now, when you become professionals, you need to have the right tools for you to cope with all the challenges you're going to face. And UTM is giving you this basically. Take it very seriously, but take it with due respect and responsibility. The University of UTM is making you become responsible citizens. This CLEN activity and program is very important for you to get your undergrad. It's very important, I think. It's compulsory. I have been through this activity for the last couple of years and have met so many people. We have given papers to so many people. But the thing that came to my mind was always that I wanted this program to be enhanced, because I want this to be put in the right perspective in your mind. So I have all those NGOs who are associated with Macoss. We'll present Macoss for you afterwards, after the break. But we know quite a number of NGOs in this country, from environment to schools to disability to youth, everything you need. We at Macoss, we regroup them. So we have a plethora of thematics for you to develop, and opportunities are there for you. First, to be trained. Second, to get a job, in fact. What is my vision with my team at Macoss is, I want you gentlemen and ladies to be very confident that you can work an NGO and make a living out of it. You can create an NGO and make a living about it, but also you can transform the society the way it needs to be. You know, Mauritius has ratified several conventions. We have so many memorandum of understandings, and these are the things that don't come to you just like that, because when you're going to face them tomorrow, then you'll say, oh, what's this? Why this law? Why children's bill? Why, I don't know, all sorts of things. Everything has a reason, and everything has a purpose. So all the law in this country, when they come, they just don't come like that. They come because Mauritius has a commitment with international organizations. So, like the Human Rights Commission is just not operating in a vacuum. It needs something to support it. There are conventions, there are memorandum of understanding, but also there are the local commitment that we need to. So we'll explain afterwards how the law functions, and you'll see the workshop of today is about the law. You will have a grasp of what's the law in this country, how it is. Second is you will understand what's the role of gender in this whole ecosystem, which is very, very important. That's why we have preferred to have a bit more ladies today, so that you can go and share to your friends how important you are in the society. Because you have a tendency to take it for granted that, okay, Bon, ben, nous pouvons un travail par là, nous pas besoin de dream, pas qu'à une CEO, nous pas prendre the board of directors. So we'll get married, we have 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, whatever, and then we'll have a nice life. This is not the way life has been ever in this world. Women have had an enormous contribution. You know, when the World War came, all the men went to the fields, died, they were hurt, they were injured, they became handicapped, you know, they were crippled. So who made the world become where it is? The women. Les femmes sont parties au devant de la scène pour faire les choses avancer. So the economic development of this world has never been without women. So you need to understand this very fact and know the importance you have in this society. So this is your role. It's not that thing that make believe you are this. No. So Glenn is the first step for you to go in the society. You will have the second opportunity to go in a company, ce qu'on appelle the industrial attachment. These two things are basically the same, but with different openings. Today, you are doing this Glenn with an NGO. Why NGO? We have this tendency to think of NGOs like nous allons dire ça at my NGO, nous allons nettoyer l'environnement. À nous nettoyer la place, tape la main. À nous allons manger, tape la main. This is not an NGO only. This is not the role of the NGO. NGOs are organizations, they are legal entities, et nous avons une série d'obligations qui sont NGOs. When you are going to an NGO, don't take it for granted because they mold the society, they decide what law is going to come, and when we are not happy with things, we make things happen differently. If today we have the SDGs, it's because of NGOs. You go and see, you know, what is World Health Organization? What is tout ça une grande organisation? Ce sont des ONG. ONG veut dire des organisations non gouvernementales, non-government organizations. So we have so many international organizations, and one of them I'm going to explain to you later. It's called the International Labour Organization. Mauritius, c'est une île insulaire. We have agreements. We are members, par exemple, by NGOs, they are members of Macoss. And we, Mauritius, as a state, we are members of so many international organizations. Once you are there, we have agreements, we take commitments, like in Mauritius, we are going to reduce this carbon emission by X% till 2030. You have heard of the SDGs just behind me. You have 17 goals. So each of those goals is the responsibility of this country to address. And we, together, NGOs, private sector, the government, and everybody, we make things happen in such a direction and a way so that we meet those goals. If we want poverty to be reduced by 50%, if we want people to live better, so we have to work towards it. But we can't do it alone. That's why we have organizations. So the NGOs, the government, we have the NCIF that does a fantastic job. They finance NGOs. We have, you people have seen in my own organization, you came with things, you have just tried to give a few donations so that we can help. And I want to thank my students who came to my, I say university, so it's really a university because they have been doing a fantastic job and I'm very happy with their performance. They have really understood that this is very important. And I understand that you are in other NGOs and you're taking advantage of what is being offered to you. So just to end this long conversation with you, we'll have opportunity to discuss about it. So let me put the things as it should be in your mind, I think. So first, when you go to an NGO, don't take it for granted. It's an organization. I have noticed when you go to an NGO, you just send a mail like, I was quite mad when COVID stroke tapé plein. Students from the university, they just said, you know, we are doing a survey, can you please answer the question? Who are we to answer your questions? Why NGOs should answer your questions? Are we going to do your assignments? No, you have to do your assignments. The problem is we don't have a communication. The right way to do it, you address a proper letter. Because when the university is giving you that opportunity, we have an agreement with the university. You need to first respect your lecturers, your university, your institution, and then respect yourself. First thing first, I told the ladies and gentlemen who came to my NGO, write a proper letter. And that's the very start of everything. Everything starts based on respect of institutions. You write a proper letter to the director, to the secretary, to the president. Explain to them what you are doing in a very small paragraphs like that. One sheet is enough. Send the NGOs your program. Why? What's your motivation letter? Send a motivation letter. Don't flatter the NGO. Send your motivation letter. We are going to teach you how to do that. Then when the NGO sees that, we are volunteers in NGO. We have so many things to do. Like today, I'm here. The other person is sending just a note on WhatsApp. Do you think we have time for that? If you want to benefit, you have to go for the proper channel first. Second, you have to understand about the demeanor, about how you address people and you go in an NGO. You have to be prepared in advance, because when you go to an NGO, it's not going to be you see it on YouTube, on television. It's not that. Today, for you to come and sit here, it's a big organization. Now you know how difficult it is for you to come here. It has a cost. It has people around doing jobs. You have the press people who have come here to see what we are doing. They are going to share this information. You have Dr. Chitu, who has moved from the university. It's not easy for this gentleman and for Mr. Abadu to come today. It's very difficult. They have a timetable that is, I don't know. You know, when you are reading the CV, it takes you one day. Just imagine the load of work they have. So they have come for you. Give them a load of upload, please. When you come to the NGO, you write your letter properly. You come with a determined mind because you want to learn. And then at the NGOs, you tell the NGO what you want to learn. Go and do some research on Google. Speak to people, speak to your lecturer, speak to people around you. Know what you want to do. You have interest. Moi, je connais un petit peu madame qui est droit. Moi, je connais la loi qui veut dire. Moi, je connais comment puis manger. Moi, je connais comment nous faire pour manger. Comment nous pose nos respect. You have all these goals. Go and read about this. You'll understand a lot of it. You know how this will help you next year when you go in a company. You're going in a company, you will understand. As soon as you go there, you will not do the same thing. You will just not send a WhatsApp there. You will send a proper letter. Why there? You send a proper letter, and in NGO you don't send a proper letter. Why in the NGO you have one behavior and one in the company you have another? There you very nice. But then when you go there, you are just going to do photocopy for the first 2 days, and then you will just sit down, roam around, enjoy the air-conditioned room, and go home. This is not the way life is in the real world. Because when we see people, when training, they don't know how to write a report. They don't know how to speak to persons. They send messages from this table to that table. Do you imagine this possibility today? This is the way we are living. So I want you to just understand the world is very complex. This is a gift that UTM has given you. Take the opportunity. Understand the NGOs. Tomorrow when you go to the company, understand the company. Respect the company. We want you to be properly groomed. When you will go to an interview tomorrow, you know how many people will, 90% of you will just fail because you don't know how to write a CV. Send on your motivation letter. If you don't know how to write a letter and write a CV, you are out of the competition. It's an atrocious, competitive, highly competitive world. Then when you have your CV passes, first thing you will get out of that thing, because when you face the interviewer, premier regard, vous êtes dehors. If you don't know how to be in an interview, you're already out. If tomorrow you are running a company, you need to meet your stakeholders for business purposes, and you don't know how to strike a deal, how to behave with them, you are out. So these are the opportunities. This is why university gives you this opportunity to go in an NGO, go in a company, learn the tricks and the trades. Once you get that right, it's not about the marks. It's very easy for me to sign the paper for you. I have done that so many times, but I have stopped since 2 years because I said, no, this is not doing justice to you, because we want you to be properly trained, and we have refused so many people. It's not because we are on the list, we will take everybody and sign the paper for you. So once you go from here today, I think now you have a better understanding of what it is about NGO. And I have this privilege, being the chairperson of Macoss, and all my friends out there, they have been very willing to share this experience with you. We wanted you to understand that this is something very important in your life. These are the best days of your life. Enjoy it well, live it to the max. But no mistake about it, take it very serious also on the other front. Because if you don't go get out of the university with a proper 2-2, I have told somebody there, get out of the university with a 2-2, not with a third class honors or a third class. It's a useless degree. You are doing a degree, you get out of the university with a minimum of 2-2. And it is so easy to get a 2-2 because once you have got a seat at the university, you have this capacity to continue to be a better citizen of this country. So I trust you, I think you trust yourself. So this will be a good opportunity for you to understand a few things and then learn a bit about all the things that these gentlemen and ladies gentlemen today, okay, we are, well, we don't have a lady. We were supposed to have a lady, so unfortunately. Vous voyez. Donc, on va essayer de vous partager au maximum ce qu'on a aujourd'hui et donner avantage de ça. Donc, with these few words, I thank you. I'll just share what I want because I'm quite a passionate fellow when I speak about all these things because I want a better society. I didn't get that opportunity that you are getting. I want you to get that opportunity and Mufasa extra mile for you to get that. I know where I come from. It's very difficult to be here. And take that, and these, I will thank at the end Mr. Dr. Chidu. He was a visionary when he initiated this project. Because this project, when you travel around the world, tomorrow vous allez travailler dans grande organisation, Nations Unies, ILO, tout ça va faire que vous allez travailler là-bas, c'est comprendre ça les là. Many people are making a living. They même à l'université, ça manque de papier bien préparé pour savoir pour payer sur représentation, c'est là que ça commence. So get your pen, get your ideas straight, and get your vision correctly focused in the right direction so that you can enjoy all the privileges of life. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience to have bear with me. So I leave the floor for Mr. Desai.
Gentlemen, colleagues from the National Social Inclusion Foundation, dear participants, all protocols observed, I wish you a very good morning. Allow me to thank the Macoss for the organization of this workshop around the theme of gender-based violence with a focus on the Violence and Harassment Convention 2019, which Mauritius ratified last year. Allow me also to present the apologies of the Honorable Minister of Gender Equality and Family Welfare, the Honorable Mrs. Kalpana Devi Kunjuk-Shah, who cannot be with us this morning. I have been delegated by the Ministry in my capacity as Head of Planning and Research Unit to attend this workshop. And in line with the concept note that was provided to the Ministry, I propose to address you a few words. Allow me to provide some statistics on cases of domestic violence which are reported at the level of the Ministry. For the period January to April 2022, 1,577 cases of domestic violence have been reported, out of which there were 281 males and 1,296 females. Ladies and gentlemen, the Republic of Mauritius has signed and ratified different treaties to protect women's rights and prevent discrimination against women. Legislations have been passed to give effect to these treaties. For instance, as Mr. Ray had pointed out earlier, the Children's Act is now in force since January 2022, and this provides opportunities to address earlier reservations to some of the articles of the Maputo Protocol and give consideration to ratifying the SADC Protocol on Gender and Development. You will all note that the age of marriage is now fixed at 18 in the Republic of Mauritius without any derogations. To ensure freedom from gender-based violence, a number of measures have been introduced. The Protection of Domestic Violence Act of 1997 has been amended on a number of occasions to better protect victims. In response to the national and international concerns about the incidence of domestic violence in Mauritius, there is a high-level committee on the elimination of gender-based violence in the Republic of Mauritius, which is chaired by none other than the Honorable Prime Minister himself. This committee promotes collaboration across government and civil society organizations to work towards the elimination of gender-based violence. Moreover, since December 2021, there is a memorandum of understanding that has been signed between the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family Welfare and the Mauritius Research and Innovation Council to operationalize an observatory on the gender-based violence. This observatory will make recommendations and proposals to improve services and facilities offered by both government and civil society organizations in the field of gender-based violence. And this will strengthen the collection of evidence-based information and gender disaggregated data on the status of gender-based violence in the country. We also have a national gender policy paper document for the period 2020-2030 that has been formulated. It is aligned to the Agenda 2030 and it was launched in the context of the International Women's Day on the 8th March 2022. The document provides entry points for the public and private sector, the media, the academia, civil society organizations to ensure that gender is mainstreamed in their respective policies and programs. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family Welfare caters for victims of gender-based violence, including domestic violence. The Ministry provides immediate intervention and assistance to victims of domestic violence and child abuse in a holistic manner on a 24/7 basis. We have hotlines. These are the 113 for the reporting of cases of child abuse and the hotline 139 for reporting of cases of domestic violence. I use this opportunity to make an appeal to you to recall these numbers as in the context of your interactions with people. If you come across people who need help and assistance, you can refer people to these hotlines where they will obtain the support that they require for any assistance in case there are cases of child abuse and domestic violence. So 113 for reporting of cases of child abuse and the hotline 139 for reporting of cases of domestic violence. The Ministry has reinforced measures for victims of gender-based violence to have equal access to justice and support. They are as follows. The hotline 139, which is operational, as I said, on a 24-hour basis. We have an integrated support center, which is now functioning through 4 parallel digital lines. This fact gives more people the opportunity to have recourse to advice, services, and immediate response to cases through the hotline. There are dedicated teams on call on a 24-hour basis, and the collaboration of the police department is also solicited to intervene in cases where we have to take victims to safety and hold perpetrators to account. Victims of domestic violence and their children are also provided safe accommodation in shelters where they are offered a battery of services, including psychological support, advice, and counseling as appropriate. There are now 4 NGOs that are operating in collaboration with the Ministry and are accommodating victims of domestic violence and their children. In order to address the multifaceted aspects of gender-based violence, the Ministry has launched a mobile app called l'Espoir in November 2020. You can download this on the Google Play Store, and it enables victims of gender-based violence to rapidly connect with the main police command and control center. It is a rapid response via the press of a panic button, and it can be downloaded on any smartphone with clear instructions provided for registration and use of the panic button. You will have the opportunity to be better informed about the Espoir application by my colleague from the Ministry later on in the later part of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to create a safe environment for women to seek support, make sure that abusers are rehabilitated, and ensure that all women and girls enjoy their full potential without any kind of fear. To build resilient families and societies, women need to be free from any form of gender-based violence. Coming back to the ratification of the Violence and Harassment Convention of 2019 by government, it is enshrined in the labor legislation of Mauritius, namely the Occupational Safety and Health Act 2005 and the Workers' Rights Act of 2019. The principles of both legislations apply equally without distinctions to all workers, local workers or migrant workers, and serve as benchmark to assess human rights impacts of business enterprises and make provision for the protection of workers' fundamental rights and a safe working environment. The laws of our country apply equally to interns and atypical workers. those employed in non-standard contracts of employment and across all sectors of employment. The framework set out in the Convention and its accompanying recommendations provides a clear roadmap for preventing and addressing violence and harassment in the world of work, including gender-based violence and harassment. The framework contributes towards the achievement of the targets set within the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, as well as those canvassed in the context of the COVID pandemic. The Convention and recommendations are now more relevant than ever in the context of existing inequalities and economic insecurities that exacerbate the risk of harassment and violence in the world of work. As an end note, allow me to congratulate the Macoss for the initiative of organizing this workshop. The Ministry of Gender Equality and Family Welfare is committed to strengthening partnerships to end violence against women in all its forms and manifestations, including the workplace. On this note, I thank you for your attention and I declare this workshop open. Thank you.